If you have ongoing exposure to controlling people, it's a virtual certainty that you're going to experience blurry boundaries, which is why I've created the extensive online course called This Is Me, Establishing Boundaries with the Controllers in Your Life. There's a link below that will give you all of the details, and I hope that you would find it therapeutic. You've probably heard it said that narcissists are quite insecure, and frankly, that's a very accurate statement. They're pathologically insecure, and it causes them to approach their own internal needs in a pathological kind of way. Now, quite naturally, one of the greatest desires that any human being has is we want to be connected with people. We want to know that people think of us as being significant, and there's a sense of affirmation that's going to come. Narcissists have that need for affirmation. And in fact, it's a very strong need. It's a craving that they have. And that craving is so strong because it's attached to their attitude of entitlement, their need to be superior, all as a compensation for that sense of insecurity that I just mentioned, that the way they go about trying to address that profound need and the craving that goes along with it actually sets them up to sabotage themselves for what they say they want the most. You know, when you think about it, every person begins life wanting to be loved. You had that need when you were a little infant. I had that. The narcissist has it. And as we grow, we have to come to terms with how that's going to be managed. Now, so many of us, you can go back and remember, you started having questions, particularly, let's say, in your grade school years and pre-adolescent and adolescent years. You know, if I have certain achievements, will I be affirmed? If I have the correct appearance, will that get me the affirmation that I'm looking for? How about if I am connected with the right groups of people, or if I do good achievements, maybe that will get me the affirmation that I want? You know, do I have to butter this person up? Do I have to keep my mouth shut over here? Do I have to show that I don't have flaws? So I kind of do this cover-up game. And as we grow and mature, we come to terms with those kinds of questions, ideally. But narcissists don't. They have that need for affirmation, and they have such an insecurity that's like they're never satisfied. And so as they begin to engage with the world around in front of them, particularly as late adolescents and adults, that craving never does get satisfied, and it sets up all sorts of unhealthy kinds of responses and reactions on the inside of themselves. The narcissist is going to approach that need for affirmation with a sense of hypervigilance. Why did you look at me that way? Why did you use that tone of voice? Did I do the right thing? Did I say something to offend you? If so, what do you have to do to correct that? How appealing do you think I am? And so they're constantly wondering, how am I coming across? And what do people think of me? Then they operate also with what I refer to as preventative defensiveness. For example, they keep their walls up, and you're not going to get to know them very well because it's like, no, I can't possibly allow some of those insecurities to show up and some of my flaws and all like that. And so inside their mind, they decide, you're not going to see my weaknesses. If you call me out for being flawed, it's not going to end well for you. And I reveal only what makes me look better than, not just better, but better than you. And then if you don't give them the requisite affirmation, then they turn on the demands. You know, I'm just going to make sure you know exactly how things are supposed to be. And so they are prone to what I refer to as the agenda. You know what the agenda is. You must, you better, you have to, you're supposed to. And they operate with that as their lead way of thinking and engaging. And then, of course, when they don't get what they want, then they're prone to anger. Somehow, in their mind, they think that if they come on real strong with the anger, that's going to make you want to give them affirmation. That's the sabotage part. They'll punish you for not giving them the correct affirmation. They declare themselves as being a victim. Look what you've done to me now. You owe me. You've proven how awful of a person you are by the way you treat me. And then they go further and they'll say, I'm going to punish you for not admiring me. I'm going to punish you for not giving me favored treatment. I'll punish you for doing things against my wishes. And maybe if I criticize you enough, then that's going to make you conform so that you will give me the affirmation. Do you see what I'm saying? They have this yearning, this craving that's normal. We all have it. I've got to be affirmed. But that profound insecurity is so deeply embedded, and their insight is so low that they don't see that the way they do things like I just described just basically guarantees that whatever affirmation they're after is not going to come in their direction. They are deeply immature and they're deeply unaware with respect to what it is that makes life go in a healthy kind of way. There are multiple things that the narcissist does not grasp regarding that topic of affirmation, but I'm hoping you can grasp it. One of the things that I want to do as we talk about this whole topic is as we see what's going on in their life and realize how neurotic they are, it can prompt you and me to think, well, what's the better alternative? And we can go in that direction and frankly stay unhooked from the snares that they put in front of us. When we talk about affirmation begins first with you having positive thoughts about who you are. In other words, when you look at yourself, you can say, yeah, I'm a mixed bag. I have pluses, I have minuses, and I affirm, though, my humanity with all of it that's there. I embrace who I am and what I bring, and then it means that as you find yourself being criticized or judged by other individuals, then part of your sense of affirmation says, well, I know that people feel the need to judge and criticize, but I also realize the limitations of that because sometimes people use their judgments to keep other individuals down. My life is more than just meeting all the criteria on someone's grading system. And as a result, you allow yourself to have different opinions and preferences and feelings and interpretations in yourself. You allow diversity in front of you. You actually welcome being around individuals who don't always think the same as you do. Narcissists can't think that way. In their mind, affirmation is tantamount to just getting conformity from you. That's how they think that you affirm them. But then another thing about affirmation that narcissists don't understand is it's not the same thing as self-indulgence. They want you to indulge them with all sorts of praise and special treatment. But, when we talk about affirmation, it's like, no, it's not indulgence. We're just going to take you and love you for what you are and let that be enough. Words like adequate are not good enough, or modesty. That's certainly not good enough for a narcissist. When we talk about affirmation, we talk about taking a break from false guilt and shame and achievement-based acceptance, but instead we actually embrace our humility. A part of affirmation is in knowing and understanding I don't have to be the center of the universe. Whew, that's good. Yay, I'm glad. And so in your humility, it's like, I have my highs and lows. I can take that. I can handle that. In affirmation, it involves learning to trust in who you are. Narcissists don't do that because they're constantly hiding who they are because they don't trust what they have on the inside. As an affirming person, you actually are able to see flaws in others and seeing flaws within yourself as opportunities for growth. And you see flaws as a gateway toward loving others and loving yourself in the midst of that. It's one thing to say, I affirm you when you've done everything exactly the way I want. But actually, as we know each other's imperfections, that's when affirmation becomes that much more full. And that's a truth that's lost on narcissists left and right. When you affirm others and yourself, it means that you bring a certain patience to the equation. You don't require things to happen exactly the way you want in exactly the timing that you want. Patience is something that you are able to live with. And then when others still cannot find a reason to love you and give you the significance that you would like to have, you're going to be yourself anyway. So narcissists have this normal, they start with what we consider a normal need, the need for affirmation, but it becomes a craving and it becomes a part of their entitlement system. And the way they go about it with all their demands and control, like I say, it just sabotages it. But I hope that you can understand this whole concept of affirmation. And frankly, if the narcissist would just slow down and quit being so selfish and say, you know, I'm willing to be vulnerable, then you would have plenty to offer to that person. But don't hold your breath. It's probably not going to happen. But I'm hoping that you can have a sense of affirmation, knowing that they're not going to give it to you, but that you can say, I understand what it's about. It's something that I yearn for. I desire. I have a need for it. But I'm not going to have such a neurotic insecurity that's attached to it that I wind up sabotaging it. I'm alive. I have goodness in me. And I hope that I can connect with people who appreciate my liveliness and my decency. And if that narcissist is not able to say that they're able to join me, I'm sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and affirm I deserve to be with people who can see what's right and best about me. Mr. or Mrs. Narcissist, I wish you could join me. But in the absence of that, you've got your neurotic way of life. I'm not going to participate in that. And I hope that videos such as this can give you some good awareness about what you're dealing with. And, you know, knowledge is power. And so the reason I keep putting these videos out there is I'm trying to give you different angles to look at relative to this whole topic. If you've not yet subscribed, I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because that helps us as well. If you have a need for therapy, and I know many times when you are thinking about these kind of topics, it dredges up lots of issues on the inside that you'd like to sift out with somebody who knows what they're doing. And so we're sponsored by the people at BetterHelp.com. There's a link below that'll take you to their website. There's a whole team of licensed professional therapists that you could choose from. If that's a need that you have, I would strongly encourage you to go into that direction. I have my therapeutic courses, and each course has multiple videos with written documents and guided questions. We have Ready, Set, Connect that teaches about how to have good connection skills. This is me about establishing boundaries, free to be, finding yourself. We have my webinars. We have our website that has many articles. We have my books, so plenty of resources that are there to help you. And I so appreciate you allowing me to be on your journey with you. Narcissists want affirmation, just like you, just like me. But theirs is a craving that's driven by neuroticism. And I'm hoping you can say, well, mine is going to be held in balance because I affirm myself. And in doing so, it positions you to be steady. And I'm hoping that ultimately it allows you to be and remain a person of peace.